Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
Could not draw it up any better this afternoon. What a beautiful day for baseball here in the Gateway City as the Cardinals host the Colorado Rockies in Game 2 of this 3-game series. A little history last night. Shelby Miller allowed the first man to reach. Then after that, no big deal. Why not just set down 27 in a row? He finishes it off with a strikeout, 13 for Shelby last night as he picked up the victory. And welcome to the broadcast booth. Welcome to baseball here on Fox Sports Midwest. That's the Mad Hungarian Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. And really, you talk to Hall of Fame writers in the pregame show like Rick Hummel or the opposing team, the Colorado Rockies. In our case, the St. Louis Cardinals. Everybody's still talking about the performance last night of Shelby Miller.
He was outstanding. You can't be any better than the young man. And look at the list that he just put his name on. This is since 1921. You'll see the 6 pitchers. Now that Shelby's on that list with at least 13 strikeouts, no walks, and 1 or fewer hits. That's a pretty impressive list.
And now it's become a situation where we have competition inside that rotation for the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, who's next? It is the ace of the staff, and that is Adam Wainwright. He'll get the start this afternoon. Wainwright, Chacin, a right-hander for the Rockies. Good matchup here in game number 2. And we have baseball coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Sunday. Kids 15 and younger with a ticket receive a pair of Cardinals knee-high socks. You see John Jay wear those, Daniel Descalso. Don't forget next Sunday also a Prairie Farms ice cream sundae before the game. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. The Cardinals in their alternate uniforms this afternoon, Mr. Raboski, and it's the ace of the staff going for St. Louis.
Yeah, Adams going against Colorado. He's had great success against them. 4-1, 1.45 ERA in his time against the Rockies. Actually, he's pitched better in Coors Field. That's hard to believe.
Matt Adams is in the lineup. Carlos Beltran will rest. The impact of Tony La Russa felt in this game today. Find out why. Game today. These are current managers that played for Tony. Dusty Baker, Walt Weiss, Dale Swaim did that with Oakland. Then you had Joe Girardi and Mike Matheny here in St. Louis. We had a chance to ask Walt Weiss, first-year manager of the Rockies, what did Tony mean to him as far as managing now?
Tony, I was kidding around with him, told him I was in the house that he built, you know, and so we stay in touch over the course of the season, and yeah, he's done a lot of great things here.
I believe I was influenced by every manager and coach I ever had, and Tony was somebody that absolutely held everybody's respect by how he knew the game and his insight and his ability to multitask and see so many different things across the field at once. He definitely gave me an idea of what it looked like to work as a manager and how much preparation had to go into it, and then the intensity in game of not taking a pitch off. That was something that I saw Tony do probably better than any other manager I've ever seen, where he didn't want to let anything slip, and he willed himself not to. And then the intellect, things that he had, just part of who he is. Really, you put that whole combination together, and that he was made for managing.
A decision last night for now current manager Mike Matheny was whether or not to pull Shelby Miller. If he got in trouble, he didn't. Shelby went the distance. A look back at that when we come back. Northwest is brought to you by Budweiser, the official beer of Major League Baseball. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. See your Mid-America Chevy dealer or log on to stlchevy.com. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Steak and Shake. Steak and Shake, just no equal. Big crowd at Busch Stadium this afternoon. And last night, first time that 2 pitchers threw shutouts, yielding 1 hit or less while walking no one on the same day. John Lester did that as well for the Boston Red Sox, and we know that Shelby was fantastic in 27 straight down after a leadoff hit. You bet that was a Cardinal winner last night in Game 1 of this series. Let's take a look at the Cardinals lineup here for day baseball in game number 2, and also the Rockies lineup. Eric Young will lead things off, the right fielder, a switch hitter, followed by Dexter Fowler. Then Carlos Gonzalez, Troy Tulowitzki, Todd Helton, Nolan Arenado, Reed Brignac, Yorvi Torrealba, Jhoulys Chachin. Defensively for St. Louis, Holiday, Jay and Craig in the outfield. Only change is Craig moving to right. Adams is at first base today. First start since April 21st. He was out with a sore side. And Yachty, no surprise there. He's behind the plate. And the Cardinals ace, brought to you by Kia. His numbers, that's Adam Wainwright.
Adam Wainwright's only had 1 shaky outing. That was his last one in Milwaukee. But since then, he is, and prior to that, he's just been outstanding. He's had great success against Colorado, 4-1 with a 1.45 ERA against the Rockies. Hard to believe he actually pitched better in Colorado than here. Here it's 2-1 with a 2 ERA in 3 game starts. And the lineup he is facing, the 1 through 8, currently have a 1 for 61 batting average.
They've had combined 17 hits, the Rockies have, in their last 4 games. 2 nights ago, Walt Weiss said the offense was unacceptable and how they were playing at home. Team that got off to a very good start, but their last 18 games, this Rockies team is now 6-12. Eric Young led off the game last night with a broken bat, single into right field. That was the only hit for the Rockies in the entire ball game.
Again, Michael Kadire, their normal right fielder, out with a neck strain. So the Cardinals are catching a little bit of a break with this Rockies, a very explosive offense that is quite cold.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to E.Y. Jr. in on his hands for strike 2. Wainwright coming off one of his subpar performances, I think you could say, against Milwaukee, but still had a chance to win that game. That was last weekend.
He got a no decision, but the team got the win. Gave up a lot of hits, was really his biggest problem.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
Shelby, no walks last night, and when you got Wainwright on the mound, that's pretty much what you expect from him also.
The 2-2. Off-speed pitch, taps it foul. The starting staff has just been remarkable. Major League best 2.20 ERA over the 34 starts. The Tigers are second at 3.22, and as a staff, they're first in the major leagues at 20-7.
And the Cardinals starters have all the wins but 2.
There's a fly ball lifted into center. John Jay is there for out number 1.
Seth Maness has made 3 major league appearances and has already picked up 2 wins.
That's how crazy baseball is, though.
Well, he earned them.
Double plays behind him, getting those ground balls, and what we've seen from those youngsters in the bullpen, they've come up and they've thrown strikes.
Yes, they have. And Dexter Fowler, first time he faced Adam Wainwright, he hit a home run. Since that time, he's 0 for 9, and on the season, he's 0 for his last 17.
So 1 out, nobody on, and he looks at a breaking ball and a strike. Wainwright is hit 92 at the fastball, and that pitch hit 72. I don't know if you would agree with this statement, but I'll throw it out there. Should we look harder at an MVP candidate when you're involved in the game like a Yadier Molina, more so than maybe just a position player that isn't directly involved with every single pitch? I mean, Yadi was unbelievable last night how he called that game.
I think you and I and astute baseball people would factor in that aspect of being a catcher, such an important role guiding a pitching staff. And you know, a lot of times you just ask your catcher, just do everything you can defensively, and it's just a plus whatever you can give offensive. But now Yadi's become one of the best hitters in the game.
There's the first strikeout of the ball game for Adam Wainwright, and there's 2 away.
So I think it should be factored in, but I'm not sure the baseball writers vote that way.
Molina, with these 2 outs, now up to 297 even innings that he has caught behind the plate. Cruz has caught 9 innings, and Yadi also has mixed in 1 inning at first base. So he has been just a workhorse behind the plate.
And this is the best shape we've ever seen Yadi in.
Told me in spring training he had lost a little weight. 2 outs, nobody on for Carlos Gonzalez. Another breaking ball and a strike.
Cargo 0 for his last 10.
Really was the key moment in the game. After that leadoff base hit, a steal for Young. Fowler could not advance him, and then back-to-back Ks for Shelby Miller, both looking against Gonzalez and Tulowitzki.
Yeah, of the 13 strikeouts Shelby Miller had last night, 8 of them were looking.
So many things to talk about, Al, about that game and what Shelby did. What really stood out, number one, for you when you think back to watching a little history last night?
Well, I think the most impressive thing was, yes, he had the great fastball and he was able to spot it. Yadi called every pitch for him, but the way he threw his curveball, that's the best curveball we've seen from him. That really gives him another weapon to work with.
1-2 here on Carlos Gonzalez. Check swing, he got him, blocked by Yadi, and 2 strikeouts here at the top of the first for Adam Wainwright. The Cardinals coming up in the home half, and a beautiful afternoon for baseball here at Busch. That has been one of the themes of this offense. They did it again last night, especially with 2 outs. It's Carpenter, Jay, and Holiday. Then Craig, Molina, Adams, Freese, Cosma, and Wainwright. Around the Horn is presented by Dobbs. A look at the defense of the Rockies. Good speed out there with Gonzalez, Fowler, and Young. Arenado, Tulowitzki, Brignac, And Helton along the infield. Todd Helton, very good glove man, 3-time Gold Glove winner, 5-time All-Star. Yorvi Torrealba is behind the plate. Jolies Shishine is on the mound for Colorado, and he's 3-1.
Shishine last season had 5 starts before they put him on the disabled list with a shoulder strain. They found out it was a nerve problem. He came back in late August and pitched very effectively, but he only had 14 starts for the season. Matter of fact, the horrible pitching staff and stats that they had from last year was a direct result of so many injuries.
Here's a ground ball to the right side. Helton thought about going after it. Gets back to the bag, and Carpenter is the first out.
Should see a lot of ground balls from Yolis.
So the question becomes, you run the Rockies organization, and what do? Do you go find power hitters? Do you find speed and gap hitters with that big outfield? Do you find sinker ballers? How do you build this team?
You better find sinker ballers.
I would agree.
But it is such a big outfielder. You need speed in the outfield. They've tried every combination.
They really have.
In Colorado, they've had they had stationary outfielders, and they had jackrabbits in the field. Everything to try and do it, but I think the magic formula is to have a healthy pitching staff.
It's where it all begins, and the Cardinals can attest to that with the way things have gone this year as John Jay takes a ball.
Mentioned that Tony La Russa's influence on both these managers. Both of them had a little similar path too.
Well, Walt Weiss was coaching at Regis Jesuit High School, and he was also the offensive coordinator for their football team.
And quarterback coach.
Right. Took them to the state title game a year ago, and we know about Mike Matheny and all his work with the kids in the area and his son's teams and daughter's teams. And Jay strikes out a changeup. The first strikeout for Chassin.
Chassin, that changeup is a very effective pitch for him. He's got a great sinker.
Replay brought to you by Plaza Tire Service.
A little off on the timing. John Jay had been 2 for 5 with a home run against this starter. Holiday hits anybody that's got a Rockies uniform on.
He was a Cardinal killer, and now he's a Rockies killer. 24 career games against the team that originally drafted him, and the numbers do stand out. 372 average, 8 home runs. He's driven in 23. 1 ball, 1 strike, and Matt didn't like that call. Always interesting to think of how deals come about, and John Mozeliak will tell you that getting Matt Holliday, in his opinion, was the hardest deal he's made in his tenure, and also signing Matt Holliday, re-signing him, he said was one of the toughest negotiations that he had as well. He thought he was gone. That's into shallow center, and Tulowitzki, the shortstop, puts it away, and he'll lead it off when we come back. 1 inning in the books. Game 2, Rockies Cards here on Fox Sports Midwest. Keys to the game and this struggling offense of the Colorado Rockies. Last 5 games, 175 average, under 2 runs per game, and a lot of strikeouts piling up. Tough night for these hitters against Shelby Miller. That includes Troy Tulowitzki. If you're a baseball fan, it's good to see him back healthy and playing.
Yeah, it really is. You know, he missed the majority of last season, and staying on the field's been a tough time, but very productive. He still leads all major league shortstops in home runs, 132 since his rookie season in 2007.
Wainwright's 0-1 pitch. Kozma to his left and gets his counterpart.
And an off-balance swing right there.
We're at Busch Stadium on a glorious afternoon for baseball here in St. Louis. Dan, Al, and Jim with you. Rick and Pat will have the post-game show, and here is Todd Helton. Heard you say last night, Al, that Todd Helton, the future Hall of Famer. You pretty sure in that statement he's headed to Cooperstown?
I think he's got a real good shot at it, and that might be an interesting part of our question, part of our poll questions.
On a hop to short. Easy play for Kozma, positioned perfectly, and there's 2 away. The numbers are very, very good, and leads us into our Twitter poll. It was the best shot at the Hall of Fame. Carpenter, Beltran, Helton.
And we picked these 3 because they're, you know, either close to the end of their career, or in case of Carpenter, you hope it's resurrected for the 4th or 5th time.
I would say out of those 3, we may be looking at the guy right there. Switch hitter. He'll go down as one of the great power switch hitters of all time because of his home runs. And remember,
6th on that
that's
switch
right.
hitter list.
And the other thing too, Al, is 300 plus steals. His stolen base percentage is one of the best among active players, and he's been a Gold Glover before. And Waino looks nasty. His 3rd strikeout. Carlos sits today, but he's off to a great start. No score as we move to the bottom of the 2nd. Here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Dan and Al with you. Glad you're with us as Alan Craig will dig in for the first time today. 2 home runs, 8 RBIs in the month of May for Alan Craig.
He had a tremendous season last year. He didn't have any home runs in April. Of course, he was on the disabled list the entire month of April. And he ended up with a 92 RBIs for the year, missing the entire month of April.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Always good baseball discussion when you start thinking about the great players in this game and just where the numbers lie before it's all said and done. I'm not sure I necessarily agree with you on Helt. It's certainly, though, a player that's in the conversation. This could be extra bases coming up for Craig. He was hustling out of the box. Cargo with a great arm, but he misplayed it. Craig around second, on his way to third, and in there safely. Never took anything for granted and winds up at third.
That's it, Dan. You leave the batter's box thinking 2, and a ball like that, you should end up on second base. But he has the play in front of him. He sees that Gonzalez has trouble down in the corner, and so he knows he can take the extra base. Here's what he does. He actually tries to slide and kick the ball, and that was trying to stop his momentum. Off-speed pitch, running hard all the way, knows he's got a double. Now he can look up, see the misplay in the left field corner, and go on to third.
Here is Yadier Molina, who's hitting .382 with runners in scoring position.
And they gave him a straight triple. Don't look at me like that, Dan. I didn't call it. Okay.
Outfield is straight away for Yadi. He's driven in 17. .1-0 pitch. Maybe one they go back and change, but you applaud the effort anytime a guy is hustling and trying to make a play, but might have been able just to get over and put a glove on it. Instead, he literally kicked it.
And we kicked it, but just made the story better for his triple.
Here's a 2-0 pitch to Molina. Up and in. Big old Matt Adams is on deck. Good to see him back.
Yes, it is. Adds a little sense of excitement, especially when Matt Adams comes off the bench. But how about Yadi, where he's moving up the ladder and the National League leaders in hitting?
He's in the top 5. Takes a pitch high for ball 4. Let's check in with Jim Hayes. Jim, what do you have?
Well, we've been talking about how Carlos Beltran has helped John Jay. Mike Matheny says Beltran's always talking hitting with his teammates. He told a story how Carlos was in the cage getting ready to pinch hit when he stopped to help Jermaine Curtis. Matheny says Curtis was nervous because he saw on a TV monitor Beltran's spot was coming up, but Carlos still made time to share his knowledge with him. Matheny says Beltran is always talking hitting with his teammates.
Always talking about the right way to do things. He has been the consummate professional.
And hosting, what, around 35 kids today?
Yes, here at the ballpark. Adams looks at a ball, and I'm sure right now it's good for Matt Adams not only to start, but try to get his timing back. He's 13 for 26, and out of those 13 hits, 3 of them have left the yard.
Multi-hit games in 5 of his 6 starts. Torey Alba out to talk to his starter, trying to get him in the strike zone. You know, you're not scoring a lot of runs as a team. You can't afford to give up any.
Fox Sports Midwest would like to congratulate all the girls who completed their first 5K today at the Girls on the Run race. Congratulations. We were a sponsor of that. Don't forget about the race for the cure as well.
The Pat race at Paris.
He's always ready to race at any time. Hits it towards the left side. They've got to play at the plate. Craig will try to stay in the rundown and tagged out.
Alba did a good job of not making that throw to the third baseman too soon. Just run down the hitter, and by doing it you can't get further advancement. Come on home and then just run him back, run him all the way back, close the gap, tags him out. Yachty comes around there. He's thinking about trying to go, but can't stay in the rundown long enough for Yachty to do so. So runners end up at first and second.
This could be a big at bat here for David Freese. Early in a game, get him going. He's only hitting .179 this season at home. And he looks at a strike.
David played so infrequently in spring training. He's trying to catch up. Starting to show some signs of life. He had 3 two-hit games in Milwaukee in succession. And he has 2 more hits, or 2 more hits in the last couple games.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. And I'm sure for David it feels like it's always 0-2. Cardinals, one of the downfalls of this offense so far this year has been double plays. Cardinals have hit into 41 double plays. That's 6 more than anyone else in the National League.
And defensively, they've turned the most in the National League.
0-2 pitch. Freese rips it into center field. That's a base hit. They will hold up Molina. So the base is loaded, and Pete Kozma will be the hitter.
Kozma got the Cardinals on the scoreboard last night with an RBI single to give them a 1-0 lead. As a tire service brings that replay of his swing. Now he's chugging hard, but Fowler, a good defensive ball player, and he comes up throwing and probably would have thrown him out.
So here you have Kozma. He got it all started in the first inning, or rather second inning last night, the first run of the game. And he is second right now in the league among rookies in hits, which is 29. Bases loaded, 1 away, and a strike on the outside corner.
One thing that we didn't talk about last night's game, I thought Mike Everett had a very good strike zone. He was very consistent. Shelby kept on hitting corners and he kept on calling them.
And again, Kozma still listed as a rookie, which may surprise some. Have to exceed 130 at bats, and for a pitcher it's 50 innings pitched in the major leagues, or more than 45 days on the active roster. Here's the 0-2. Took something off it. He strikes out. What had so much promise beginning of this inning, Chacin 1 out away from getting out of this jam.
Get ahead, expand the zone, let the hitter get himself out.
Cardinals with 2 outs, runners in scoring position. 348 as a team this year. 2 outs, bases loaded. First time up for Wainwright. Molina the walk. Adams the fielder's choice. The base hit on an 0-2 pitch by Freese. They're all aboard. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Adam Wainwright. Since 1974, there has not been a team that has hit 300 or above with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. 98 Rockies and the 99 Indians. Those two teams hit .297.
And it's fair to say the Cardinals probably won't hit 300 in that situation this year when it's all said and done.
Good numbers for Adam in this spot. Turns on it, chops it foul.
Adam has 6 career home runs and 29 RBIs. This season just 3 for 17 with a pair of RBIs.
The 1-2. Wainwright strikes out. Chacin. Well, he gets out of the jam with back-to-back Ks. Bring your glove. You got the hat. Where's the ability? Baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Schnucks, your neighborhood hometown grocer. Well, Wainwright and the Cardinals pass up a golden opportunity to strike first in this game. Bases loaded. Only 1 out. Cosma strikes out. Wainwright strikes out. Also runner at third. Nobody out. Can't bring him in. More times than not, those kind of things come back to haunt you in a game at this level.
They do. And yet it's up to the responsibility of Wainwright just to continue what he's started here. 6 up, 6 down, 3 strikeouts in the first 6 batters.
Outfield straight away. Reed Brignett was off the bench for Walt Weiss yesterday.
2 for 12 as a pinch hitter this year. He came over from Tampa Bay.
And he went. Strike 2. Think about Walt Weiss and where he's come from. 14 big league seasons as a player, 4 with the Rockies in the mid-90s.
That was under Don Baylor.
And he began by breaking in, playing for Tony La Russa, and finished up with another great in Bobby Cox. And in the middle, Renee Latchman, Don Baylor.
And Latch is his first base coach. I would have thought he'd be his bench coach.
Here's the 0-2. In the air out to center. Jay coming on and makes the catch. A basket catch out in center field by John Jay. So last year, as we mentioned, he was coaching high school, Regis Jesuit High School. And he was the head baseball coach, and as Al told you, also working in a little football as well. He's a special assistant to Dan O'Dowd for a number of years for the Rockies, so it's not like he's foreign to getting back into pro ball, but it certainly is different than coaching high school baseball, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I think he kind of stepped away from that for the last few years and was enjoying retirement. Kind of a remote part of Colorado, not too far from Denver.
Special assistant up until 2008. Then he stepped away from the game as Yorvi Turrialba looks at ball 2. Seven up, 7 down thus far for Adam Wainwright. Popped up. It is a very windy day here at the ballpark, and that carries all the way over to Cosma.
Boy, that's just good of Cosma to be in the vicinity and watching that the same thing. And as that ball started drifting on David, all of a sudden Cosma was right there to take it for him. David's kind of losing. See Cosma looking at it. Last second, he must have called off, and David got out of his way.
Chassin, the pitcher, takes a ball high. He's hitting 167. No homers and 1 RBI. It's now 35 Rockies that have been retired in a row. 35.
Shelby had 27 in a row after he gave up a leadoff base hit. And now Wainwright here with 8 in a row, soon to be 9.
Nice play from the former Gold Glover Wainwright. The top of the lineup coming up for St. Louis. Any size coffee, fountain, or frozen drink for just 50 cents. Mobile on the run. 6 is a serious number. Cardinals have Carpenter, Jay, and Holiday due up. Sometimes there's people I work with, Al, I'd love to give a binky to.
Binky? That's what a pacifier is called?
Yeah. You, sir, would not be one of them. But then again, you are sitting next to me today, so I'd better be nice.
I took a happy pill. Don't worry.
And I gave you a very nice gift before the game.
Oh, well, you gave it to me?
I was
Go
the
along with your story now.
conduit from the Cardinals to you.
Well, why is it you tweeted out that I had to do something to earn that jersey?
I gave you, as Carpenter looks at a ball, the Mike Matheny pink jersey. And I did tweet out the photo of that of you holding it up. And folks can go to Danny Mac TV, our Twitter feed, Danny Mac TV, and you'll see that beautiful shot of Al. Now, full disclosure, apparently Al did tackle an 83-year-old fan to get that, but she's okay, we understand, and Al is a much happier person. And that is ball 4 to Matt Carpenter.
Oh, that's full disclosure, right?
Full disclosure, Al.
Okay.
We bought her a nice hot dog and Coke, and everything seemed to be okay. Second walk issued by this right-hander, and it brings in John Jay. What a difference a month can make is John Jay. You think about this in terms of leadoff hitters, not just average, but on-base percentage. It was .293 in April, and this month it's at .471.
The on-base percentage.
Yes, sir.
He had a very good road trip. Had a home run, 8 RBIs as he changed the way he holds the bat. It's more perpendicular now and quicker to the ball, and when he does make contact, the ball's jumping off his bat. He's been a career 300 hitter at the big leagues.
0-2. Ground ball that's hit to short. Tulowitzki steps on the bag and slings it over to Helton for the double play. The 42nd double play the Cardinals have hit into this year. Here's Matt Holliday for the second time against his former team as we flash back. July 6, 2010. You think he knew it? Absolutely crushed his first home run at Coors Field with the Cardinals. Last year alone, 5 home runs, 16 RBIs in 7 games.
.481 average. He had those 16 RBIs and I think 31 plate appearances. Of course, Cardinal pitchers. He terrorized them when he was playing for the Rockies. Almost hit a near 500 against them.
Think about that. The 5 home runs, 16 RBIs in just 7 games. The rest of the league, 22 home runs, 86 RBIs in 150 games. 0-2 pitch to Holliday. Just missed on the inside corner. Fights it off and stays in there.
Good pitch in on his hands. These Rocky pitchers must feel like they have to be perfect. I was kind of surprised you showed that they were under 2, but nearly 2 runs per game with that 175 average.
Jammed him. Tulowitzki makes the play. Leadoff walk, a race with the double play, the ground out by Holliday. No score after 3. And the state of Missouri teaming up to help you stop smoking. For more information, call the Quit line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Switch hitting, Eric Young Jr. Picked up his 5th stolen base of the season last night against Yadier Molina. Probably should say against Shelby Miller.
Yes.
Rounds it to the right side. One away. Pretty amazing the lack of steal attempts against Yadi over the years. This is fewest opponent stolen base attempts per 100 innings dating back to 1974. In 2005, a team's attempted just 3 steals per 100 innings. Think about that. And the value of Molina in 2005. He also led the league in 2009 and again in 2008. This year, though, it's up a little bit, which you pointed out last night. Teams are attempting 5 as opposed to the 3 of the 4.
And Dan, I think in years past, early in the season, teams were more likely to run against him. And then as the pitchers started giving him a chance, you know, as pitchers started paying more attention to the base runners, then that average really, caught stealing really improved.
Fly ball lifted into center. 2 away. MLB.TV celebrating 11 years. New low yearly prices. You can watch every out-of-market game live on over 350 supported mobile and connected devices, all in HD. It's what Al does. It's what I do, Rick, when we're on the road. Go home and first of all, we review all our game tape together, and then we start watching the other games that we DVR'd, usually about 1:30. Carlos Gonzalez takes a ball in. Two outs and nobody on. The 1-0 pitch. Everybody should be moving on any ball that's put in play, including the umpires.
Yeah, see, the home plate umpire will go to third base because the third base umpire will go to second, and the second base umpire goes out into the outfield to determine whether it's a true catch, not a trap ball.
Here's a 1-2. You know, Al, if you were a guy that was looking to get married, and you and I are happily married, but this may have been the weekend you wanted to get a ticket to Busch Stadium. It was lined up with young ladies to get that Mike Matheny pink jersey, and tomorrow is the floppy sun hat. And Cargo swings and misses. This pitching extraordinary here at home to start this homestand for St. Louis. Coming up, Craig Molina Adams. Alan Craig looking for home run number 3 on the year. of the game. Rocky starter Chassin at 93 miles an hour. Same with Adam Wainwright.
Chassin was their opening day starter this year, 25 years of age.
And changeup has been very effective here today.
He's got the pitches to keep you off balance.
This Cardinals pitching staff, you think of Shelby Miller last night, 27 in a row. And today to start the game, Adam Wainwright with 12 in a row.
So 39 straight Rockies gone down to retirement.
Here's a 1-1. Taken just a bit high.
And even with the problems they've had in the last 5-6 games, they still came in leading the National League in batting average.
So the pitcher's now at 13 consecutive perfect innings. Three and one the count on Allen Craig. Up the middle and a base hit. Craig is 2 for 2 with a triple and that single. Cardinals had a great opportunity back in the second when Craig was at third, nobody out, couldn't bring him in. And Chassin has been dealing with runners on all afternoon long, with the exception of the first.
Laney has good average against him. 2 for 5. Not much, but Yachty now is second in the National League with his .344 batting average. Tulowitzki down there at fourth.
Rockies have turned a double play. Molina always a very good candidate for a hit and run. We try to jumpstart things. Cardinals do have 3 base hits.
And the Rockies are saying he's a very good candidate for a double play.
You bet. Line drive into center field. That's a base hit. Molina on base for the second time, and here comes Matt Adams.
Tough to pitch today. You make good pitches and you don't get rewarded. Kind of really pull those hands in and swung with authority. As the time pulls his hands into the body and then make sure he follows through.
We had John Mozeliak in the booth last night. We showed a graphic of Cardinals since 2006 have either drafted or signed 32 players that have made it to the major leagues. One of those right here in Matt Adams. And Al, you were putting your feet up in John's box, so I'm not sure you saw that, but that's 7 more players than any other team in Major League Baseball, and also they've won 2 World Series titles in that time.
The ability to draft, sign their players, develop the players, get them to the big leagues, and not all of them stay with the Cardinals. Sometimes you use them as trading chips. Adam Ottavino, a former #1 pick of the Cardinals, is in the bullpen for the Rockies. It is amazing how many homegrown players the Cardinals have.
Here's a 2-0 pitch. And more on the way. Michael Wacha, Colton Wong, Oscar Taveras. Cardinals now second time through. See Chassin. It's when the hitters have had their best success at 262. 2-2 on Matt Adams.
That 89-mile-an-hour fastball just looked like about 96 the way he changed his speeds. Matt Adams had the key at bat in the second inning when he hit the ground ball to third, and Alan Craig was caught in a rundown between third and home.
Here's a 2-2. Adams skies one out to left. Gonzalez makes the catch. He's won a couple of Gold Gloves in left field. And it brings in David Freese. Freese, first time up, had 2 strikes on him, then single to center. Big gap in left center field. David would love to hit home run number 1 right here. That pitch was taken high for ball 1. Pittsburgh all over the Mets, 9-1 in the bottom of the 6th, and Toronto, huge disappointment so far. They lead the Boston Red Sox 1-0. That's in the top of the 3rd. Red Sox, by the way, lose Joel Hanrahan for the entire season.
Oh, so it's not just a forearm strain.
Correct. Here's a 1-0. One ball,
John?
1 strike.
Tommy John, or
said it would be a surgery. I'm assuming it is Tommy John. That was announced late this morning, right before we got on the air.
they were saying, oh, he had that same problem in Pittsburgh, a couple weeks off. He'll be fine. Not the case.
Say it's a surgery to repair a torn flexor tendon. So that is season-ending surgery. He is through. They say at the time they do that surgery, they'll determine as to whether or not he needs Tommy John. One ball and 2 strikes on David Freese. Finally, Chacin is set. Here it comes.
Saw them tap that glove at the feet of David Freese, make him think it's going to be a pitch inside and then a breaking ball away. Now leaning inside, jumps out and might have taken the strike away from him.
I agree. Jumping around behind the plate. It looked to be a pretty good pitch. Runners at first and second. The count is full with just 1 out.
Sometimes when you're pitching and you may throw a strike, but you know the umpire's not going to give it to you because your catcher is moving or you missed your target by so much.
The 3-2 pitch. Freese spoils it.
David's had a nice career against Colorado pitching, .340 average. Like to add to that. Shade him a little bit because in the outfield towards right. Has that power to drive the ball into the Cardinal bullpen.
Here's a 3-2. And the bases are loaded. For the second time, bases loaded and 1 out. Identical spot like the first time for Pete Kozma.
Already 3 walks.
You only get so many opportunities, and the Cardinals have had a bunch already in this game.
Seems like his pitch count should be a lot more than 64.
3 walks, 3 strikeouts. He's allowed 4 base hits. Bases loaded. 1 down for Pete Kozma. Home plate umpire today, Marty Foster. Scott Berry is at first. Tim Wilkie, the crew chief, at second. Mike Everett down at third. Strike zone is tightened up a bit. One ball, 1 strike.
You can see a lot of Cardinals taking strikes, fastball strikes. Kind of looking for something else, and this is a pretty good pitcher's pitch too.
Same spot.
Painting the black. Kozma 1 home run, no slams. Be a nice time to turn that one.
Bases loaded. The 1-2 pitch. Kozma strikes out. And now it's up to Wainwright again. Strikeout number 4.
Paints the outside part of the plate with all 3 pitches. But here's a good breaking ball. It pulls down on it. Tight spin. And painting that outside, he was ready to go fishing for a little bit further away.
Wainwright struck out his first time up with the bases loaded. Strike 2 on Wainwright. Chassin, every inning with the exception of the first, has been pitching with runners on. And this is the second time this afternoon he's dealt with the bases loaded. The 1-2.
3 straight sliders and try to paint, throw the fastball by him. Good pitch, but Wainwright wouldn't expand the zone. Hasn't made too many mistakes, has he?
Ooh, he just missed.
Torrealba.
Now we've got the bases loaded.
Boy.
And they're off with this pitch.
Boy, they were complaining about this one, and awfully close to take. Struck out 4, he's walked 3, and he's got a full count. The runners will be moving.
This big crowd is ready to explode. The 3-2. Wainwright strikes out. Chassin pitches out of the jam for the second time today. Cardinals already have stranded 6. Big bats coming up. Move to the top of the 5th. Check in with Jim Hayes. He has more on the historic night of Shelby Miller.
Yeah, Dan, Miller was as close to perfect as you could be last night. I asked him after a start like that, what does he look at in terms of things he can work on? He said the leadoff base hit. He's given up hits the first batter he faced in 5 of his 7 starts. Big picture, 1.5 ERA this season. Batters hitting 179 against him, not a big deal. He also chugged his Gatorade too quickly between innings. That led to a little issue. He said that won't happen again either, Dan.
And how was he the day after, Jim? I know you had him on the pregame. How about physically and how he felt as Mike Matheny did extend the ball game with him, and rightfully so, to pitch that 9th inning?
He says he felt great, and he could have gone longer if if that was a case or a situation. Obviously not necessary, but he said he was so emotional. Someone told me he got close to tears when he hugged Yadi last night. He said because Yadi was so good behind the plate and he just threw where Yadi said to throw the ball, that it was emotional when he embraced Yadi, but it snapped in, and he said now it's back to work and prepare for his next start.
All right, Jim, thanks. And you go back to about 2 months ago and the uncertainty as to whether or not he would be even with the major league club, and then thinking about what role he might have, and now he's turned out to be one of the best young pitchers in baseball.
Sure, and remember also we had 2 off days this week, so guys were pitching with 7 days instead of the normal 5. Last time Wainwright pitched was last Saturday. So that allowed Mike Matheny and Derek Lilliquist to go a little deeper with it.
Good breaking ball to Troy Tulowitzki. 0-2. Troy Tulowitzki, 6'3", 215 pounds, and an outstanding defensive player as well as hitter. You know, here's a guy that in his first full season in the big leagues led the league in total chances at short and also fielding percentage.
Yeah, I mean, he's just the complete package, and the only negative is he's been hurt an awful lot.
Strikes out, and that is number 5 for Adam Wainwright. Well, as good as Shelby was last night, Adam Wainwright is following that up here in game number 2. It's our BJC Health difference maker. Last 4 seasons, the starter's ERA below 2.85. And when it's happened, and those are some great teams that those staffs were a part of.
68 National League champions, should have beat Detroit. And you saw the 3 times in the 40s, 42, 43, 44, all pennant winners. Where will this team end up?
There's a 1-0 pitch to Todd Helton. Helton will turn 40 in August, and now you get a look at only 11 balls thrown by Wainwright. You had the chance to visit with Todd Helton yesterday, and he does not want that farewell tour. He wants this to be more of a focus on the team.
Yeah, and I mean, he's, like you said, he's 40, and people ask him, well, what about next year? And he goes, well, my contract's up. And doesn't want to really announce it. Doesn't want to go through a farewell tour, which he richly would deserve. But just wants to kind of, apparently if the Rockies have show any interest in him, he probably would extend it. But not going to be out there looking for other teams.
Here's a 3-1 pitch. Wainwright has walked a total of 3 this year. One of those intentional in over 50 innings of work. The 3-2. Spoiled by Helton. We mentioned earlier, is he a Hall of Famer? There's a couple of players that he has stats that are very similar to his that are in the Hall of Fame. One of those, Johnny Mize and Orlando Cepeda, really the 2 that are closest to the numbers all told for Todd Helton.
He's 20th on the all-time doubles list with 573.
Fly ball lifted down the left field line and out of play.
The top 100 Major League all-time in extra base hits. He's 43rd in walks. He's 1 away from 1,300. He's 43rd. His home runs 356, 80th. RBIs tied for 82 with 1,357. His OBS is 21st. On base percentage 21st. And there's a walk. That's number 1,300 in his career.
By the way, Shelby Miller, Adam Wainwright have been so good last night and again today. They've struck out 18 of the last 39 hitters they've seen. And 18 of the last 39.
And there was 40 Rockies being retired by Shelby and Adam. 40 in a row dating back to last night before the walk to help.
Arenado is the hitter. Looks at a strike.
Told you this young guy, I think he's finally turned 22, but in 2011 he led all major or minor leaguers with 122 RBIs. He was also named the Arizona Fall League MVP.
Little tapper foul.
They weren't crazy about his attitude a year ago and told him, you know, he thought he should have made the ball club after having that great year in the minor leagues. And he got off to they didn't like his attitude at Double-A, and so they told him, no matter what kind of season you have, you're not going to be called up. And that changed him a little bit. He had a good spring. Started in the minor leagues, and then brought him up 12 games ago.
Popped up to the right side, foul territory. Adams makes the catch. I don't know if you buy into this, Al, but when you think about Todd Helton and the Hall of Fame, or even guys like Larry Walker, or any of those great players that played in Colorado, the numbers don't lie. The pre and post humidor, and as a team, and that was introduced in the early 2000s. The batting average prior to that as a team for the Rockies was .323, and now, even with the slight advantage, if you want to call it slight, with the humidor still in play, it's well under 300. So that is a significant factor when you think about the numbers that these guys have put together.
And another aspect of Todd, though, is his defense.
Yep.
You know, some people rate him the best first baseman since Keith Hernandez.
That's out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Reed Brignac at the plate, and this afternoon he is lined out to center. The name of the game is pitching, and the Cardinals are doing that.
Yeah, it wasn't hit particularly well. It was a soft liner out to John Jay.
Cosma, step on the bag, takes it himself. We're midway through 5, and there's no score. Rockies and Cardinals on Fox Sports Midwest. Sports Midwest Girl. If you love watching the Cardinals and the Blues, well, this is your type of job, because you can enter to be a Fox Sports Midwest Girl. FoxSportsMidwest.com/girls. The voice of your Missouri Tigers, Mike Kelly, is in the booth. One of the outstanding play-by-play voices in all of sports. Love listening to Mike Kelly on those fall Saturday afternoons. And
how long ago?
College
did
basketball.
He leave here? In what, close to 20 years?
He was the PA voice 25 years ago. Back in the early 80s. Now, I know Mike is looking forward to making sure that the Missouri Tigers actually get to a Final Four. There's a base hit into right field. Because the thing about Mike, when you listen to Mike, he's turned out to be one of the great coaches as he broadcasts. Good Mike Kelly. Love listening to him.
That's all right, Mike. Danny thinks he's an owner. You like to spend everybody else's money.
Good at it, Al. Here's John Jay. Jay lines it into left center field for a base hit. Carpenter hesitated and wisely back to the bag at second. Boy, Cargo, we've seen it already a couple of times in this series. He has got a cannon out left.
But there was a good example of what Mike Matheny is trying to do, is if you can take a second, take that extra base. Kind of fights this one off. Hyundai will bring you this replay. And as you watch, Carpenter, he's got the play in front of him, but he's going to think about trying to take advantage of it. But then he realizes, no, I can't do it. He got to the ball quickly. He's got a very strong throwing arm, but that's what Mike is trying to teach you. If you can take an extra base, be in a position where you can do it instead of just stopping at that second base bag. Round it, prepare to take the base, but then watch the defender and make him ultimately decide whether it's a good option to go or to go back to second.
This will be the 10th at bat the Cardinals have had in this game alone with a runner in scoring position, if not multiple runners. And they've got nothing to show for it. They've had 4 at bats with the bases loaded. They had a runner at third, nobody out. At some point, you've got to break through. Holiday is hitting .444 with runners in scoring position. First and second occupied. The 0-1. Holiday with a fly ball out to shallow right, and it drops in. Bobbled by Eric Young Jr. And the bases are loaded again for St. Louis. Not a very good jump in right by EY Jr. Drops in for the base hit.
He was playing very deep and didn't read the ball off the bat. Where he hit the ball off the bat is going to dictate where it's not going to carry, so you need to come in. And that little bobble didn't matter. He's very short. So Carpenter has to read it. He's trying to sit there and see if he's going to catch it. He knows he's not, but he couldn't go any further than just the 90 feet.
No activity in the Rockies bullpen. Pitch count is only at 80 for Chacin, and we talked about it yesterday where that final game against the Yankees, they had a long rain delay. Bullpen was used a lot, so they'd love to get at least one more inning out of him, if not 2.
Their relievers have done a very good job, but Dan, they're just piling up the innings once again. That's what happened last year when they lost their top 3 starters. That the bullpen just eventually just, overworked. Fatigue factor set in. I think the little different right now with where we are in the batting order now with the bases loaded instead of being in 8 and 9 spot.
Alan Craig with a triple and a single already. Bases loaded, nobody down. Craig with a fly ball into center. Fowler makes the catch. Runner tags up. Throw will come into third. And with that, the Cardinals take the lead here in the 5th. Alan Craig with RBI number 27. And St. Louis finally breaks through.
His fly ball about 300 feet. There's that slider away, gets it right off the end of the bat. Not a bad pitch at all, and yet he gets the job done with the sac fly. Fowler also did the right thing where he threw the ball. He had no chance to get the runner, so by going to third, he kept the runner at second. John Jay.
Runners at first and second. Molina hitting .382 with runners in scoring position this year. He has walked. He's also single. Lefty is throwing in the pen for Colorado.
John Jay almost took an extra step, and when he did that opposite spin towards second base, he had to scramble back. No throw, but could have been close. Second baseman really holding John Jay close. That opens up a big hole.
First pitch to Molina, ripped out to left. Cargo going back and makes the catch. Jumped on that pitch. Jay back to the bag at second. Holiday to first. Saying good morning to the new Egg White Delight McMuffin. 8 grams of whole grain and just 250 calories only at McDonald's. Another case here where if they get out of this inning, meaning the Rockies with just 1 run, could have been a lot bigger.
And then you start thinking about all these stranded runners. Late in this ball game, that might be a big story. Missed opportunities.
Here is Adams with runners at first and second. Matt is grounded into a fielder's choice and also flied out to left.
That
First time up was the ground ball to third with Craig at third, and made the decision to come home. Wound up being a poor decision.
You know, not having a lot of at-bats coming off the disabled list, and not a lot of bats since he rejoined the ball club on Tuesday. He's trying to get his timing back.
Here's a 1-0.
Before the injury, we would have loved to have seen him in all these RBI situations because he came through in every chance he had.
A 2-0 pitch. The Cardinals really were forced to put Adams on the roster because of his play in spring training. They saw a improved body and a short swing, and he made the decision tough for them. And 3-0. He looks at a strike, and John Mozeliak said, look, we were in a situation where ideally we would have sent him back down, but he has proven that he's got really nothing else to show us in the minor leagues, and he makes the club. So here he is with a chance to do some damage. 3 balls, 1 strike.
He had a handful of bats and was leading the team in home runs. Still has. Right there at 3.
And he gets a base hit into right field. Jay will score. Matt Adams delivers the theme this year again. 2 outs. Runners in scoring position, and someone comes through. This time, the big man Adams to make it 2-0.
9th RBI of the season. Just a handful of bats. So now maybe he's getting that timing back, and he could be the force he was before. 3-1, pitch away from him. Does a good job of hooking it, hitting the line drive. This was a pitch that, you know, normally you'd say you wouldn't be successful unless you took it to left field. But he just goes out there and reaches, and then watch those quick wrists as he pops it swing through and lines it to right.
David Freese. Strike one. Freese has singled and walked back in the fourth both times. That led to a bases loaded situation with one out for Cosma. He would strike out, and then Wainwright would strike out. That was in the second and the fourth. The 0-1. Two balls and one strike. The 2-1 is chopped to third. The play is made. Matt Adams delivers with 2 outs and 2 on with a base hit into right. That would score Jay. In our Hyundai replay, it's now 2-0. The Mets, that'll be this Wednesday. Many of the former players will be here, current players as well. Cardinals.com/promotions. What you do, you buy a ticket, get here early, and a chance to pick up autographs from current and former players. Cardinals will catch a little break in that series. It's a 4-game set with the Mets, and yet they will not face Matt Harvey. Now, as a baseball fan, I'd love to watch him pitch. We saw him in spring training, and he's off to a great start. But if I'm a Cardinal hitter, I'm thankful.
We talked about that. Those two talking hitting. Two very sound sounding boards there, but one thing nobody needs to tell Adam Wainwright, but he must shut down the Rockies right here. Has been outstanding. He's only walked 1. He struck out 5. No hits allowed in this game. Been 43 batters since the last hit the Rockies have acquired, and that was in the first inning of last night's ball game. So his teammates got him 2 runs, shut him down.
Off the end of the bat by Torrealba. And then the pitcher spot and the top of the lineup. So again, only 15 balls, and that's what really has defined Adam Wainwright's season to an extent, Al. The control, the lack of walks, and just how good that has been this year.
Well, he did walk Helton last inning. That was the first walk of this game, the 4th of the season, and we're talking about in almost 55 innings.
Right. Here's a 1-2 pitch.
And Dan, it's funny, but you know, when you leave the pitcher's mound, you come up here and broadcast and retired and everything else, and watching all these games, the first thing that comes to me is, why did I ever walk so many?
Off the end of the bat, little floater into left center. Jay makes the catch. Let's go back to our email the booth question, and a lot of questions have come in. Thanks to carsoup.com. Was last night's performance by Shelby Miller the best you have ever seen? Good question by Rick and O'Fallon, and I actually posed that question off the air to you before I knew this was coming.
Yeah, you know, remember we did Fernando Valenzuela's no-hitter, and he didn't have exceptional stuff that night. You know, I've seen Gibson with so many great games and different things, but I think with the dominant performance that Shelby had, with you sit there and say retired 27 after a leadoff base hit, didn't walk a batter, and strikes out 13, and I would have to say it's 1, 2, or 3.
Sure.
And I asked Mike Shannon the same question, and he said it'd be in his top 5.
Carpenter, tough play as Wainwright, I'm not sure he got a piece of it as he pulled the glove back down, and Rutledge is retired. He was the pinch hitter, so that's 2 away. Looked like he was going to go after it, then thought better of it and made the right choice.
Now he's 6'7". You can see he started to go up and then said, wait a minute, I got a guy there. Sure-handed Matt Carpenter, who's committed 2 errors on the season, but both of those were at third base. So learning a new position second, he has not committed an error all season long there. And we don't even talk about, you know, it's still a trial or experiment. He's proven that he can play it and play it well.
Here is EY Jr. Two balls and no strikes. Bud Smith was 21 when he threw his no-hitter. There's strike 2.
I wasn't with you for that game.
Did that game on the radio side with Mike Shannon, and Mike, who is just a wealth of baseball knowledge, said, tell you what, we got to the 5th inning. He said he might throw a no-hitter tonight. And he just didn't see it coming. He didn't think Bud Smith, he wasn't a hard thrower, and his velocity wasn't that great. He was around the plate, but some good defense behind him that night. It's a foul ball.
Well, you need so much luck, and you know, Bob Gibson felt like he would never throw a no-hitter because he was a fly ball pitcher, and he got his in Pittsburgh. But Shelby was spectacular in his 8th major league start, his first complete game at the professional level, and he is. And we talked a little bit last night. He has really grown up and matured quite a bit this season.
That night with Bud Smith, it was an ailing Tony Gwynn. I remember coming off the bench and Bruce Bochy saving that bullet. And I thought, well, when Tony Gwynn gets there, this one might be over. And Cardinals with their positioning. He hit a rocket to Edgar Renteria, and that was it.
I was going to say, he's probably we're going to hit it towards left field.
Yep. The 2-2. Got him. A strikeout for Wainwright. Comes back to get Eric Young Jr. St. Louis on top midway through 6. It's 2-0. Tomorrow at 12:30. With a chance to see Troy Tulowitzki. We've got the giveaway here at the ballpark. If you can't join us here, join us on television. We'll come your way at 12:30. Luke and Andrew are taking in the ball game from the Heater squad based in Kirkwood and hoping to see another Cardinal win as the lefty Outman is our Chevy called to the pen.
He's a young man from our area, from Imperial, Missouri. He went to Lindbergh High School, played baseball and ran cross country, attended Central Missouri State. 10-2 as a junior and led the Mules to the NCAA Division II World Series.
I'll give you a game, Al, that we did that was one of the most impressive we had done, which was the return of Chris Carpenter to Toronto. That one hitter.
Yeah, I mean that was a very, very good game, but I'd still put Shelby's better.
Sure. Carpenter and Halladay, and
they pitched on consecutive days and put on a show.
That was unbelievable.
Remember Seth Smith, the outfielder? He was traded to Oakland to acquire Outman.
Ground ball to the right side, and Cosma hitless today.
Josh's second year with Colorado, he was 1-3 with an ERA over 8. Made 7 starts and 27 appearances. Like Jaime Garcia, and he'll be towing the rubber tomorrow. It's De La Rosa.
The bullpen last year for the Rockies threw an unbelievable amount of innings. 657 innings from their bullpen a year ago.
And you know, they're on this somewhat of a close pace too, because they've been throwing an awful lot, and you can do it for a while, but you just can't sustain it over the full course of the year. were historically bad in the bullpen last year, but not the case this year.
Up and in to Wainwright.
This season, the Rockies bullpen, and this wasn't that close. It's easier for me to say than Wainwright. The Rockies have a National League best 2.62 relief ERA this year.
Back to the Twitter poll we go, presented by AT&T. Who is the best shot at the Hall of Fame? And how about that, Al? Some of the fans actually agree with something I say.
Yeah.
63% for Carlos Beltran.
Start reading his numbers and they get impressive.
Still a ways to go, too.
Let's hope.
You know,
we
36.
talked about last night that we could see how the Cardinals could re-sign him.
A lot to be said in this game about older players and what they mean to those younger players, the younger generation coming through. And talk about that when we come back. But Beltran certainly has meant a lot. Adam Wainwright, Chris Carpenter. This goes on and on. Cardinals on top, 2-0. Now at cardinals.com/college. And again, a reminder that if you're heading to the ballpark, that is a 6:05 first pitch. 6:05 first pitch this Monday. So if you have tickets or if you know someone that does, make sure you let them know 6:05 and be here. Miller and Wainwright had retired 40 consecutive Rockies before Todd Helton drew a full count walk from Adam Wainwright. That's how good the pitching has been in this series. The switch hitting, Dexter Fowler. Strike one.
And now we're up to 46 batters since the last hit.
We're talking about a lineup that on paper features some pretty big names. Carlos Gonzalez, former batting champ. Troy Tulowitzki. Todd Helton. Anytime you talk about a guy being in the conversation of the Hall of Fame, you know he's a pretty darn good player. Now, Cardinals are also facing the Rockies in one of their toughest ruts offensively of the season, but This is also a team that collectively coming into this series had very good numbers from opening day coming in. Two and two. Fowler has struck out, also flied out. The 2-2 pitch. Liner, that's caught. And there's one away here in the 7th inning. Reminder that StubHub is the best place to find your seats, as well as Cardinals.com. Find the seats you want, freedom to choose where you'd like to sit, home or road. StubHub.
Two strikeouts last night for Gonzalez, 2 more again today.
One 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Really has used that off-speed pitch to get a lot of these hitters out in front. And remember, first time through, many of those breaking balls were used as first pitch strikes.
Yeah, he's got that first pitch curveball, and he'll tighten it up and make it harder as he tries to put you away. The cutter, the fastball.
Gonzalez trained from Oakland for Matt Holliday. That was in the offseason. November of 2008. In 2008, Cargo only hit .242 for the A's in 85 games. He's become a different hitter once he got to Colorado. First full season was in 2010. Hit .336. In 11 he hit .295, and then last year again over 300 at .303.
Last year led him just about in every offensive category. He's an outstanding hitter, curveball.
The 2-2 pitch. Again out in front. That curveball has kept everybody honest. It's been nasty again today.
You see the difference between that first pitch curveball where, you know, just kind of lollipop it up there a little bit, and then on this one he'll pull it down. He'll start it down a little bit more so it falls into the ground. He'll be at the cutter.
Outfield straight away, and it just missed.
There could have called it.
It's been a strike a number of times today, especially with the right-handed hitters catching the corner, but not there on the lefty, and it's 3-2.
Probably a cutter or curveball. No, one fastball inside. I think they changed it. Curveball now. Thought about it. The reason I say they think about it is that fastball inside, you know, you got a 3-2 pitch. You want to put it right on the black. If you don't get the call, or if he doesn't swing at it, you know, it could be ball 4.
The 3-2. Cargo breaks his bat, lines out. The Subway in-game box score. Wainwright has retired the first 2, and the Cardinals have a hit from every spot in this lineup, with the exception of Pete Kozma and Adam Wainwright. But every position, with the exception of Kozma, base hit.
Well, we like that first 2 where it says runs.
Here's Troy Tulowitzki. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Tulowitzki has grounded out. He has struck out. The 0-1 pitch. Make it strike 2. This crowd has even gotten a little bit more quiet as we have gone on, sensing something special that has been building here at the ballpark.
He wants the curveball, he wants the cutter.
The 0-2, and he taps it foul.
You can see these good hitters are swinging at pitches off the plate, and they're doing it because they're forced to. You know, the pitch selection, what they're doing to them up there, they're getting very uncomfortable in the batter's box. They know what's going on right now, and they want to break it up, but they're trying to expand their zone, which works against them.
It's another 0-2 pitch. And again, Al, you can't say enough about what Molina means to this team and this pitching staff and the game that he calls. Again, it is Yadi that calls these pitches. Rarely, if ever, do we see him have a pitcher that shakes him off.
After a couple cutters, they're going to go back to the curveball.
The 0-2, and he got him. Struck him out. Time to stretch here in St. Louis. Wainwright is sharp. Is there more history coming? 2-0 Cards. The home half of the 7th, our head and shoulders whip package, and Adam Wainwright is up to 7 today.
Been outstanding with that curveball. Fowler, Cargo, just kind of getting guys to expand their zone, chase balls. They just can't come up with that curveball. There he sneaks a fastball by him. Just having a lot of fun right here. And there's the last one we just saw, number 7 for Adam Wainwright. 7 strikeouts, just 1 walk, and a big 0 under that hit number. Rockies have gone 49 batters since their last base hit. The leadoff hitter of the game yesterday.
Here is John Jay. Last 24 hours have been remarkable in terms of Cardinals pitching. Not sure you could see any better pitching than what we've seen here. Back-to-back games.
Well, you talked about the Rockies come in after a horrible time against the Yankees. Their offense was non-existent.
going to say it's that lonely feeling right now for Adam Wainwright in that dugout on the bench, and one that he welcomes. No one around him, no one talking to him. The 1-2. Ground ball, and Outman has it. It's one of those things, you're leading by 2 runs, but you'd almost rather see that quick inning and get him back out there. AT&T U-verse rewind, and here's what's happened in this ball game today. Wainwright outstanding. Alan Craig 2 for 2 with an RBI. Chacin, the 5 innings, the starter for the Rockies. 8 hits, 2 earned runs. The RBIs today for St. Louis. Matt Adams back in the 5th. And the Cardinals also scored in that 5th inning with an Alan Craig RBI. As Holiday takes a pitch down and in.
Shelby Miller last night in a 3-0 score felt like it was 10-0. Today the Cardinals should have gotten a lot more off of Chacin, but only managed the 2 runs. And you're absolutely right. Adam Wainwright is going, I've got 2 runs, I got enough, let me get back out there. Altman's retired all 4 batters he's faced to this point.
Turn him loose here on 3-0 with 1 out. Nobody on. Holiday sitting on 5 home runs, and he looks at a strike on the inside corner. Miller last night. It's Wainwright here in game 2. Jaime tomorrow in game 3.
You
3-2.
I think Jaime's feeling a little pressure.
Right. Good luck.
But that's what we talk about, the friendly competition, that you know, one guy does a good job, you try and better him. I guess the only thing Wainwright could do is to throw the no-hitter to beat the 1-hitter and retired 27 in a row last night that Shelby Miller accomplished.
3-2 as a base hit into right field. Second time that Holiday has gone to right. A reminder that baseball this afternoon is brought to you by Bud Light. The sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. If you're just joining us, we saw 27 straight last night from Shelby Miller after a broken bat leadoff base hit. In this ball game, Wainwright might be just a little bit better. Cardinals with the 9 base hits, a lead of 2 runs. No one talking to that man as he's thinking about Todd Helton, who will lead it off in the 8th. Here's Alan Craig. Also in that inning. Arenado after Helton. Reed, Brignac. Craig with the RBI, now up to 27.
2 for 2 in this game with a sac fly. That put the Cardinals on the scoreboard for the first time. Then a Matt Adams RBI single gave them their 2nd run.
0-1 pitch. Now it's 0-2. 27 driven in by Craig. That is the team lead. Rockies, the start of play today with the best average by a long shot in the National League at 271. Next closest, Milwaukee, 264. Cardinals 4th in the league at 260.
I think what their average must have been before they went on this tailspin.
Right. Craig is now just 1 back of Tulowitzki, 5th in the National League in RBIs. Here's a 1-2. Drives it into left center field. That's down for a base hit. The Cardinals' 10th base hit in this ball game.
10 base hits other than Craig's triple. The other 9 have been singles, and that's the 3rd hit for Alan Craig today of the 10. Some of these hits have been kind of, jam shots where they've just fisted the ball, muscled it over the infield, but they all count.
Runners at first and second. Molina hits it out of play.
Wilton Lopez, right-hander, getting ready in the bullpen.
Nothing like a rain delay when you have a 10-run lead, and that's what the Pirates have right now in the Mets, leading 11-1. Top of the 8th, and Toronto on top of Boston, 2-0. Yachty throws the bat at it, and it drops in for a hit. You've got to be kidding me. He literally threw the bat at it, picks up a base hit RBI, dunks it into center, and the Cardinals jump up to a 3-run lead.
What's wrong with that?
So many times you have a Nissan drive of the game that leaves the ballpark. How about this one? Boop. Off the end of the bat. Yachty's smiling. And he's smiling in the top 5 of hitting in the National League.
Very much under control with that swing, and at the last second reaching out there, just let it go, but just a split second before it made contact. Need the big man to put the punctuation mark on this game.
Over 43,000 here today. Fourth sold out crowd. Here's the 0-1. Make it 0-2. One thing the Cardinals really liked from Matt Adams in spring was how he stays in on the lefties and was able to take a lot of pitches to left field, not pulling off those pitches. Saw a lot more balls going to center and also left and driving them.
One of the things you watch for is what does he do with the front shoulder. So he lets it fly open, then he can't handle the outside pitch.
Did he go? Yes, he did. Adams thought he held up. Home plate umpire calls him out.
Got a right-hander available, but Walt Weiss in this series, and kind of, well, now he's making the slow walk out of the dugout. It looks like he'll make the pitching change and bring in Wilton Lopez.
So runners at the corners, and another chance for David Freese when we come back. to face David Freese.
Right-handed batters are hitting .341 off of Wilton Lopez. He was last with Houston, and one of the reasons they acquired him thought that he had learned how to pitch in a hitter's friendly ballpark. And if you pitch and successful in Houston, the thinking is you'd be successful in the rarefied air of Colorado.
Alan Craig, by the way, now hitting over 300 for the first time this season. As he picked up a base hit, he stands at third. Molina is the runner at first. 1 ball, 1 strike here on David Freese.
Lopez was named the Astros Pitcher of the Year by the local Baseball Writers Association last year, winning 6-3, 2.17 ERA.
The 1-1.
And 3 straight seasons with sub 300 or 3 ERA with at least 64 appearances in each year.
Ground ball and sharply hit to third. Freese hits into some tough luck, but the focus squarely on that man. 8th inning rolls in when we come back. Let's go to our studio. Bomberito Sports Update. Pat Paris. All right, Pat, thank you. As Wainwright will face Todd Helton to start the 8th. Over 43,000 here at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Helton today has grounded out to short, and he also walked. First pitch, ground ball, right side. Carpenter, can he do it? Yes, he can. Makes the play. Saves the base hit. What a play by Carpenter to his left.
Did we say he's learned to play second base in fine fashion? And right there it shows his tremendous range, and he knew what it's all about. That's the first really tough chance by a Cardinal defender, and this was a legitimate shot, and he takes a base hit, an apparent base hit right away from Todd Helton, and to the delight of Adam Wainwright.
And everybody else.
I'm sure Walt Weiss didn't think it was so funny.
1 away here in the 8th. That pitch at 91. The velocity has been consistent today for Adam Wainwright, around that 92, 93 mark. Arenado at the plate, in the air to center, and it's broken up. The base hit to center as Wainwright gives up his first hit, and listen to the reaction here in St. Louis. The first Rockies base hit since the first inning of Game 1 of this series.
51 batters.
Wow. Reed Brignac with 1 out and a runner at first. Hear it all the time, but if you're going to see a no-hitter broken up, you want it to be clean, and this was.
Not about it. Just gets that little cutter. See Yachty put the glove over his eyes. Wainwright's disappointed, but now he's got to win this ball game. Good thing he got the extra run last half inning, or we'd be facing the potential tying run at the plate.
Good curveball in there for a strike. 1-1. Now you have to regroup if you're Adam Wainwright and finish this game off. His pitch count, by the way, is at 97, so some activity in the Cardinals bullpen.
Rosenthal throwing right now. He's pitching with 2 days extra rest because of the 2 off days earlier this week. So pitch count, isn't really that big of a concern right now. Biggest thing is getting through this inning with a shutout intact. Like a double play ball right now would be perfect.
Last no-hitter for St. Louis, Bud Smith. The last Cardinal to do it at home, the late Bob Forsch.
At the Phillies or the Expo one?
So in between hits, the Rockies go 0 for 50 as Jay makes that catch for out number 2. And think about that. 0 for 50 between hits, and here's that list, and here's your answers. Smith, Jimenez, Forsch, only Cardinal to author 2 no-hitters. Bob Gibson, and the list goes on and on. But the last to do it, Bud Smith, 2001, September 3rd, 2001 at San Diego. Yorvi Torrealba. The other thing that really stands out about this Cardinals stretch of games that starters have been throwing in really since opening day, how deep they're going in these games. They're averaging over 6 innings per start.
And that takes the wear and tear off the bullpen. Cardinals bullpen, we'd like to think their problems are solved, but they've thrown the least amount of innings and in the National League.
Here's a ground ball, slowly hit, freeze, the force play at second. Again, let's hear the ovation for Wainwright as we head to break. St. Louis has out hit the Rockies 11-1, and they lead this ball game 3-0. Wainwright, by the way, is due up second for the Cardinals. No activity in the Cards pen. And here is Pete Kozma.
Got to get the impression that Derek Lilliquist has gotten Mike Matheny's attention and say, hey, let's push these guys a little bit. And like I said, yeah, and they're all big and strong. They know themselves pretty well. Pitch count should be sort of an artificial number. And like we said, with a couple days extra rest this week, you could push Shelby Miller to that, what, about 114 pitches, 13 pitches last night. And Wainwright go back out there.
Right down the middle for a strike. 2-2. Two balls, two strikes. And Kozma strikes out.
Pitcher, Adam Wainwright.
Allowed just one base hit, and he'll have a chance to finish what he started. Cardinals trying to pick up their 4th complete game of the season from this starting staff.
And we only had 3 last year. Cardinals also trying to win, what, 9 of the last 10 games. One hit and 1 walk, and that is it.
Miller, Wainwright, span of 50 batters for the Rockies without base hits. By the way, looking ahead to the top of the 9th, Lopez is spotted in the top of the lineup. That's Young and Fowler. Lost in this game is the play by Carpenter to his left, and who knows how big that may have been if not for that base hit.
No, but it was great practice. He answered the bell with pressure on the line. You know, all these defensive players realize what's going on. They're all on their toes, and he showed that he could answer the challenge.
Would have been interesting to see how Mike Matheny would have played it. You've got one of the best defensive players at second or at third on your bench in Daniel Descalso.
And the oddity is, the member of the Cardinals with the most errors is that defensive wizard you're talking about, Descalso.
You'd have to think about Beltran coming in the game and then moving Craig potentially to first. And there's a base hit into center field. Well, the Cardinals right now are second in the league in fielding percentage. Now, that can be a little misleading at times depending on how many balls you're getting to in the range and whatnot, but still, it's good to see that you're at .989 fielding percentage.
Well, not only that, Dan, you know, a lot of times the team that turns the most double plays is a bad baseball team because it's a bad pitching staff. They have just so many opportunities with all the base runners, and you can't say that with the way the starting pitchers pitch for the Cardinals. They're turning them, but it's by design, and it's they've turned the most with, I would say, probably close to the fewest opportunities.
Here's John Jay. Struck out, grounded into a double play, a single and a run scored, and also grounded out last time up. That was back in the 7th. 2 outs and Carpenter the runner at first. For Colorado, this has got to be of major concern for them. 16 hits in the 3 games against the Yankees and a total of 2 so far the 2 games against St. Louis. On the verge of now going 6 and 13 in their last 19 if they can't come back against Wainwright. A 2-1 pitch. Matheny talked about it yesterday with Shelby Miller. There was going to be a pretty short leash on him in that 9th inning, as they did have guys up and throwing in the bullpen. We'll see how short that leash may be in this 9th inning with a veteran and how he treats him a little bit differently than Shelby Miller.
I think you get Mahica up and still would get to the point where you want him, pitch Mahica because he hadn't pitched for a while.
If the need arises.
Wilkie, our second base umpire and crew chief, I think with a left-handed hitter up there that could be screening Tulowitzki, the shortstop, at times. Foul tip.
Reaching for it and a diving stop. Jay beats it out.
Carpenter really was almost a third of the way, if not more, to second base. Helton playing way back, so he keeps on taking a lead and takes off. So you knew he was going to get to second on this dive up the middle. He went back in case they were going to throw behind him, but John Jay beat it out at first. Matt Holliday another chance. He's 2 for 4 today.
Both base hits have been into right field.
Matt is hitting .545 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. This year against Colorado, he has just a .429 average. And over his career, he's just hit rocky pitching. The first team he signed with has just destroyed them.
One ball, 1 strike. Nine RBIs with 2 outs and runners in scoring position this year. He's ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. And he's just about due to just launch one. Two and two. Fisted to first, and Helt will take it. Wainwright back to the mound. Can he finish this game off? We'll find out when we come back. Matt Holliday, watch this. Steps on the outside portion of the bag, twists his ankle, and with that has left the ball game as Shane Robinson takes over in left field. I mean, just a harmless play, and rolls his ankle.
Walked off and obviously into the train room for treatment. This is Pacheco pinch hitting against Adam.
Boy, was that odd. Wilton Lopez being pinch hit for, so Pacheco at the plate, looks at a breaking ball and a strike.
Pacheco pinch hit last night, 0 for 1.
5 career shutouts for Wainwright, the last on a Saturday afternoon earlier here at Busch Stadium this season. April 13th against Milwaukee. That was a 4-hit shutout. Out of play for strike 2.
Pacheco led all National League rookies and finished 5th in the NL with his .309 average last season. That was the first time a rookie ranked in the top 5 in the league batting race since Houston's Greg Gross was 3rd and Chicago's Bill Madlock was 5th, both in 1974.
One-two pitch, curveball, and what a play. David Freese down at 3rd for the first out. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Yeah, Pat Paris and Rick Horton standing by for the post-game show. Adam Wainwright obviously in total control. They'll break down his afternoon. The starting rotation enjoys the home cooking. They'll look at that. Plus, we'll have Mike Matheny's post-game comments and more. That's all coming up after the game. For now, it's back to the booth and you guys.
Thank you, Jim. And now it's Eric Young. Since 1922, the Cardinals never had 2 individual pitchers throw back-to-back complete game 1-hit shutouts.
Shelby allowed 1 hit and no walks. Adams were allowed 1 hit and 1 walk.
Nothing in 2. Miller, Wainwright, their numbers combined, they've given up just 2 hits in this series. Remarkable. You know, last year I think about R.A. Dickey and Johan Santana, that series at Citi Field, the no-hitter, and then Dickey was sensational in his start. Very similar to what the Cardinals have done here. 1-2 as Young today is flied out to center, grounded out to second, also struck out. So the fewest hits allowed in back-to-back games by the Cardinals since the early 20s. For Shelby, it was 27 straight after the leadoff hit to start this series last night by the man at the plate.
Adams at 112 pitches, so he'll finish higher than Shelby. Mojica warming up. Question might be that if a base runner reaches, Adam could be out of the game.
1-2. Fly ball into center. Out number 2. Well, if you want to get caught up on the offense of the Rockies, here you go. Last night, the broken bat single into right. There's your 1 hit from game number 1. And today, 8th inning, 1 out, and a base hit into center. That is it. Crowd on their feet here at Busch Stadium.
This is what 5 and 1 in the rotation are doing. Puts a little pressure on the other 3, but it's welcome pressure. They have fun with it.
Strike 1 on Dexter Fowler. He is struck out, flied out, and lined out. Over 43,000 today, the 4th sold-out crowd of the season. That is strike 2. The 0-2 pitch. We'll do it again. The 0-2 check swing and did not go. Pitch count at 116 for Wainwright.
Time to end it.
On 1-2. Taken high, 2-2. Looking for his second complete game shutout. He was close to having his second in Washington. Could do it here on this pitch. The 2-2. Full count.
Give these umpires credit. They could have easily rung them up. I think they made the right call.
from 0-2 to a full count. Here it is, the 3-2 pitch to Dexter Fowler. Breaking ball lifted into right center. Jay on the move. Can't get there. Drops in. And the second hit for the Rockies this afternoon. This is where it gets interesting now. You have Carlos Gonzalez, and then if he reaches, Troy Tulowitzki. Gonzalez has struck out twice his first 2 times and then lined out to third.
Acting like that ball had some significance as Yachty rolled it to the Rockies dugout.
Two outs, runner at first. Gonzalez, a broken bat, hit to second, back-to-back shutouts. Miller in game 1, Wainwright here in game 2. How about a sweep tomorrow in game 3?
Well, it's outstanding. This Cardinal pitching staff is doing a tremendous job. The starters are unbelievable. The Redbirds now have won 9 of their last 10 games and have a 3.5 game lead in the Central.
A 2-hitter thrown by Adam Wainwright, and the Cardinals finish the game off, and it's 3-0, the final. Budweiser player of the game. Look at the numbers for Adam. 9 innings, only 2 hits. He walks just 1 and 7 strikeouts. We're off to the post-game show. Rick and Pat standing by. Waino sharp yet again. Picks up win number 5. He's now 5-2.